Now the sun is just starting to climb up over the treetops, and it's gonna be a beautiful day, that's plain to see.
Welcome to Bill Dance Outdoors, America's most popular and longest running TV fishing show.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.
You know, most folks outside the fishing world think a tubin is floating down a creek, a small river, or just floating around on a lake, pond, or water park in an inner tube. But anglers know better. When it comes to tubing, we think of tube jigs. You know, just looking at a tube, you're probably thinking, this thing looks like nothing, possibly a Vienna sausage with a short skirt on it. But in our eyes, that's really not important. To a bass, it represents something they're highly attracted to in their food chain. So let me pick up some that I think will work, and that would be green pumpkin. Hey, you can choose different colors and sizes, what you think they represent. Example, if you're fishing on the bottom around rocky areas, it might represent a crawfish. Out along a weed line with the right color pattern, it could represent bluegill. Out in open water, like we're gonna be fishing mostly today, well, the tube we hope it represents would be a shad, or maybe even suspended bluegill that have moved out from the weed line some. So with that said, let's go get them wet. Well, let me tell you, you'd be hard-pressed to find a lure that covers the water column in a greater variety of ways than this little guy here. Now, we're going to be swimming it today, and this method is basically a do-nothing type technique. All we're doing is casting it out into open water, allowing the lure to drop to a desired depth. All the while, keeping the rod tip high or up, simply because many strikes will occur as the lure is falling. As it begins to fall, somewhere between the surface and the bottom, it's free to swim, glide, and dance its way all the way down. What makes it even sweeter is that it can do this so effectively. Now, with a tube, you really have lure control and can keep it in the desired zone wherever that may be. And hey, we all know the longer you can keep the lure in the strike zone or close to it, well, the better the chances are of getting bit. What's extremely important here is the retrieve. That's the key, meaning you can keep movement at a pace that keeps the presentation moving horizontally. Now, I'm going to mention that quite a bit, horizontally, which we're going to discuss just in a little bit. That's a real key to this bait, horizontally. The speed and depth are basically controlled by the weight of the presentation, and that is all done by the way you handle the reel. Now, I don't add a lot of rod action to the bait, meaning I don't jerk it, pop it, or snap it, or hop it along. Occasionally, I will stop it and give it just a slight twitch, but most of the time, it's a slow, steady retrieve, which is a highly, highly effective one. Look right there. Nice one. Where are you going, darling? Where are you going? Oh, that's a good fish. Look at the size of that. Look at that big old fish. Whoa, that's a good one. That's a big old pretty fish. You got that big old, look at. Come here, stay up for me. Oh, isn't that a pretty fish? Oh, you got that hook in you, didn't you? A pretty one. Big fat too. See ya. There we go.
Bill Dance Outdoors is sponsored in part by Rebel, catch fish anywhere. Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. And Mercury Marine, #1 on the water.
We are the wanderers. We are the ones who go out amongst the trees to get back to our roots. The ones with rivers flowing in our veins and an internal compass that always points toward the great outdoors. It's all within reach. Ascend. Gear for the adventure in you. Available at Bass Pro Shops and other fine retailers.
Radical unibody construction. Precision machined to the tightest of tolerances. The new Quantum throttle with real engine design blows the doors off any reel in its class.
With Rebel.
Today's Conditions Log is brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development. Come experience the kind of beauty that can only be made in Tennessee. Go online today for your free Tennessee vacation guide.
Some of these little gnats, little no-sims, all in your glasses. You probably see them crawling all over the camera lens. We need a little bit of wind. Speaking of wind, you know, wind is your worst enemy here in open water. Wind destroys your feel, it creates slack, it makes you want to fish much faster than you should, and it constantly repositions your boat. Wind makes it so difficult to keep you in direct contact with your lure. I wish we had a little bit more wind. It's picking up a little bit and supposed to get a little bit stronger today. The main reason, it gets rid of some of these gnats. You know, there's several adjustments you can make, and naturally, you try to make the best of it by keeping your rod tip low. This can help eliminate a bow in your line, which will create better feel. And changing the weight of your lead head can also help. The lead head that we're using today is Bass Pro Shops Finesse Tube Jig Head. It comes in 6 sizes ranging from a 1/16 all the way up to a 3/4 ounce size. Today we're using the 1/8 ounce size that sports a 4/0 hook. Now if the wind should pick up, we'll probably increase that to get better distance and better control. Boy, he knocked it. I felt him hit it. Whoa. I love to do that. Good one too. Boy, you knocked it. You knocked the baby all the way up to, you kill it tube. You absolutely killed it. You absolutely killed it. Oh, calm down, calm down, calm down. Calm down, baby. Boy, you just about threw the little old hook. Look at that mess right there. Look at that mess right there. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? You know, speaking of wind a minute ago, sometimes windy conditions can get so bad you may have to anchor or even power pole down. Now if you do this, you need to cast with the wind, and this can help. You've got better control and you can cover the area so much better. And it helps to keep a little bit tighter line. You can fan cast the whole area so much better, simply because this bait moves around and the fish also move around in the area. You just go from 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And sometimes when you catch a fish, you'll move that, there'll be several big fish, and they'll follow that hooked fish, especially the clear of the water. The clear of the water, they're like chickens. You throw out a piece of light bread and that big old, that hen will grab it and she'll run off with it and they'll chase her. Fish will follow fish. Now, if there's not much wind blowing, you'll have much better results fishing. You won't have as much line on the surface, and you can maintain much better contact or feel with your lure. Keeping your rod tip up at the 10 o'clock position, you'll have much better sensitivity, and you can detect the slightest bites. These fish are anywhere from seem to be anywhere from 5 to about 8 feet deep. So I'm throwing this out and just counting it down like it's falling about a foot a second. The hits, I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I'm not trying to go under them. The eyes are fixed and they're looking up. They'll come up for it, looking out on a horizontal plane. They'll go out to it. Fish are anywhere, I said 5 to 8, seem to be about 5 to 10 feet.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Quantum Rods and Reels, fishing at a quantum level. Mystic Lubricants, lubrication domination. And Tracker Boats, fish the finest. Today's equipment log is brought to you by Motor Guide. Precise control, quiet operation, and unmatched reliability. Motor Guide trolling motors are engineered for anglers.
Tracker Boats, America's #1 selling fishing boats, recognized for high customer satisfaction ratings from its owners, brings you the Tracker Promise, the best factory warranty in aluminum boats, a bow to stern warranty for 5 years, plus a limited lifetime structural and deck warranty. And there's more, because at the end of the day, it's not just a boat, it's a tracker.
Mercury engine test.
Toughness you can rely on. It's good to have Mercury behind you.
Mercury engine test.
Lightest 115 horsepower in its class. It's good to have Mercury behind you.
We are the wanderers. We are the ones who go out amongst the trees to get back to our roots. The ones with rivers flowing in our veins and an internal compass that always points toward the great outdoors. It's all within reach. Ascend. Gear for the adventure in you. Available at Bass Pro Shops and other fine retailers.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Gamakatsu, world's finest hooks. Grand Slam Mono and Braid, big fish tough for when the money's on the line. And by Garmin, fight your fish, not your fish finder.
Tell you something else that's real important. It's not uncommon for open water bass to move around a lot for better feeding conditions and cover. Say you're catching them out here or over there at a select depth and they quit biting. They still might be feeding, but the school of shad that they may be on moved 30 yards this way or 30 yards that way, or the weed line or the structural feature in the area that they were on, they moved out from it a little ways. You know, when this happens, what I do, I take my trolling motor and I start zigzagging in and out, watching the surface for any activity, and I keep a real keen eye on that unit right there, my depth finder, looking for any schools or any activity that I see down below. And a lot of times, probably most of the activity is going on well below the surface. And one more important thing to remember, if you locate a key structural feature that the fish are using, whether it's a point, a ledge, or whatever, and the fish leave it, remember the depth that you're catching them at, and then begin searching for them out from that key structural feature. Watch your graph real close at that same depth out in the open water. An awareness of fish movement and knowing the area can definitely be a big benefit in catching these rascals. I'm telling you. And like I said earlier, when you locate them out from these structural features, using the bait like we're using today, what you want to do is fan cast the area real well, trying to work your lure at their depth level. These are the same active fish that you were catching off the structural feature, and if there's a current in the body of water you're fishing, they'll normally return to that structural feature when the current changes back. Where's he going? That doggone fish is flying right at the boat. Whoa, look at here. I didn't think he was near that big. Whoa, baby. Wow. I didn't think catfish was even close to that. I thought he was a little bitty one. But I was acting cute, saying, look what I've got. Look what I've got. Where you going, mister? Come on back here with your cute self. Come here, baby. Say, ah, for me. Ah, ain't they pretty? Aren't she pretty? My hand slid up in your face. That clear water, they're just so pretty. There you are. Okay. Toodaloo. Say bye. Just a big, big hole right in here. There's a shallow ridge that runs across. You can see that high spot right here where those reeds are. Well, it runs straight across and connects to that island right there. And then there's a point that runs way out across here, and there's just a big, deep hole right in here. Those fish are suspended right out in there. Now, speaking of shad, it's important to be very observant, especially on calmer days. What you want to do is keep an eye out for shad slicks on the surface. Now, these slicks are emitted by schools of bait fish as they move through the water column and rise to the surface. They're created by the natural discharge of schooling forage fish. You can see them on the surface. Sometimes they're a little small, sometimes they're big, and they drift with the current, or they drift with the wind, the wind currents. The Bill Dance Question and Answer of the Week is brought to you by Mystic Lubricants and their complete line of JT4 marine products. A full line of products for your full line of pursuits. Visit mysticlube.com today. What is a power pole anchor? Well, it's nothing more than a hydraulic shallow water anchoring system for your boat that allows you to quickly and quietly stop it at the push of a button and holds it tight in both wind and current, giving you time to tie on a lure, to fish an area or spot slowly, carefully, and thoroughly, plus whatever you might want to do before moving on.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Orca Coolers, the all-American everywhere product, and Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. Closed captioning is provided by Bill Dance Digital. Follow us.
We are the wanderers. We are the ones who go out amongst the trees to get back to our roots. The ones with rivers flowing in our veins and an internal compass that always points toward the great outdoors. It's all within reach. Ascend. Gear for the adventure in you. Available at Bass Pro Shops and other fine retailers.
People around here learn at an early age the value of good work ethic and a hard-earned dollar. His grandpa told him, buy once, buy right, buy American made. You get what you pay for. We couldn't agree more. After all, he stands for American values. Why shouldn't his cooler? Orca Coolers. American labor, American components, made in the USA.
Let's get down to business. Quiet, you sons of fishes. Now, what?
I'm switching sonar.
Why?
Cause now I can see fish swimming live in front of my boat. I even see fish attack my lure. Y'all's sonar's just history. I'm out.
I'm with him.
Today's product tip is brought to you by Garmin's new Echo Map series of chart plotter sonar combos. These awesome push-button units provide the clearest scanning sonar images on the water.
I found this bow-mounted trolling motor like the one we're using today to be perfect. I really like a quiet approach, which often helps me catch more fish, especially in depths of 15 feet or shallower. There, I really rely heavily on this easy-to-steer motor with a bow-mounted transducer on it because I can see the edges of the grassline drops and how the fish are relating to the area that I'm fishing on my bow-mounted graph.
If you're looking for the latest fishing information and tips, be sure to check out the free Bill Dance mobile app, available for both iOS and Android users.
There's a fish right there. Man alive, he's running like crazy. Strip that line. Oh, boy. Where are you going? Look at that tugger. That's a better fish too. Whoa, buddy. Man, strong fish. Of course, bait fish like shad scoot tightly for protection to create the illustration of one big fish. However, they emit an odor in their oil that attracts predators by way of sense of smell. A little attention to the wind or even a slight current can also help. In this case, you'll know that the fish will be upwind or current from the slick because their discharge will have drifted. Now, many times polarized glasses can help you spot the school of shad just below the surface, and at other times you might see a single bait fish jump or flitter. Now, when they're deeper, your graph will tell you the location, the depth, and the direction the forage is moving. Another tactic to consider when targeting schools of forage is to fish the outer edges before casting your lure either on top, beyond, or through the school. Normally, bass will position themselves downward of the bait fish. This way, they can follow the feed so much easier. In such cases, your cast should be made into the wind if possible. This way, if you get a strike and hang the bass, you won't be fighting it and dispersing or spooking the others away. Remember, a bass will normally attack an individual shad rather than crash through the center of the school. Predators like the bass select and attack one specific victim at a time, normally choosing a victim that is isolated, disabled, or looks different. This is a key point in understanding the feeding of predator fish. I'll tell you what I really like about this unit. It's a touch screen. I can go to down view if I want to. It's got down view feature. I can go to side view if I want to, or I go back to traditional sonar like what I've got it on right now. You see all these fish just suspended? But the features, like I said, it's got down view. I can go to split screen, go back to the side view. It's got all kind of options, but the key feature with it is just the touch screen feature, which is so nice, but it's just got a lot of features to it. No buttons to push, just hit it and go.
Well, our trusted timekeeper is signaling us right now that we're smack out of showtime for today. And that's not going to set real well with our host, Mr. Dance. Why? Simply because he's not even close to being finished with all the tips he planned to share with you today on fishing tube jigs for bass. As you've seen so far today, it would be hard to find a lure that covers the water column better in a variety of ways than this one. It truly is one that can tempt the fish in so many areas, shallow, deep, or somewhere in between. And there's lots more to this story. Please make it a point to join us again, right here again next week for more of Bill's tips on fishing tube jigs in Somewhere in Between Part 2. Thanks for watching Bill Dance Outdoors. Please join us right here again next week.
Now I'm gone fishing with Bill Dance today.